Hey YouTube, Tom Griffin here at Buxton Auto in Fate, Texas. We're a buy here, pay here car dealer. I would say 2/3 of our business is buy here, pay here. One of the things we do different than our competition is we don't charge any interest. We also do cash sales and we do consignment sales as well. The link to my website is down below. That's buxtonauto.com. And then we'll have all the links to the sites that we're going to mention throughout this series down below as well. Also, if you wouldn't mind, I'm trying to build the channel a little bit, so a like and a subscribe would be great. If you have some questions, you can put them below. This video will actually be part of a series because it's just too much information to put all in one video. But the gist of this video is how to get your Texas motor vehicle dealer license. So we're going to talk about setting up either an LLC or an S Corp or doing it just as a DBA. We'll do lease space and requirements. We'll do the application process, the finance license, and insurance. And then probably we'll wrap up with a short video on P&L, not really on generating a profit and loss, but what expenses might run you so you have an idea how many units you need to clear every month to break even. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is, in my case, I am a single member LLC. So Buxton Luxury Auto Sales LLC is my company name. It is a separate entity. It is an LLC, so I have some protections there. But I file it as a Schedule C on my income tax. So I don't have separate corporate taxes, as you would say. It just goes in, whatever I make at the end of the year is on Schedule C of my personal income tax, and that is my income. That's probably the simplest, most straightforward way to do it. If you have a partner, you can form an LLC with two partners, and you guys would just split those numbers. So to start with, if you're going to do that, you'll want to go to the Texas Secretary of State's website and pick which business model that you want. You can do this yourself. You don't need to pay a third party. It's a 2-page form. I bet you there's not 15 questions on the whole form, and it's like $350. You mail that or scan it or whatever you want to do to the state. Usually within a week, you get it back. You get a Texas taxpayer ID number. You get the little stamp on it that says you're an LLC. And then from there, you will go to the irs.gov website and apply for your EIN number, electronic identification number, also known as the federal taxpayer ID number. You'll get those two things before you go any further. The reason for that is, one, when you go to look for a lease, you're going to try to sign the lease as your corporation and not as you personally guaranteeing the lease. So that in the event, if things go south, you're going to be okay. That corporation will take that hit. There'll be nothing to collect, and then you can walk away tax-free. In some cases, they do require a personal guarantee on the lease, which I don't recommend. What I've always done when I sign leases, in lieu of a personal guarantee, I've paid a larger deposit, which I understand is not always possible. But for me, it's all about limiting my liability in the event that things go bad. When I was 21 years old, I opened a restaurant. It didn't go well. I filed bankruptcy. It was hard on my marriage. It was hard on my finances. It was a very stressful time of our lives. So ever since then, I have sort of had the view that we're going to limit our liability whenever possible. So just to recap, you're going to go to the Secretary of State website. You're going to pick out the corporate structure that's best for you. You could do a C Corp, an S Corp, an LLC. For most people starting out, one guy or maybe two guys, I would recommend the LLC. It's just easier for filing taxes, and you still get all the protections that you need. Once you get that filed, you're going to then turn around and go to the irs.gov website. Also, one of the joys of trying to film your YouTube videos when you're operating a business is knuckleheads coming in when your door's shut and starting to talk to you. But that's all right, we'll deal with it. So just to recap, start out with your Texas Secretary of State website, decide your business model. I recommend the LLC. Then go to irs.gov, get your tax ID number. At that point, you're ready to start looking for a commercial space. In the next video, we'll talk about what kind of commercial space I would recommend. And I want to preface it with, I'm a very small dealer. My display area is about 10 cars. I turn them over fairly quickly. I am lucky that I also own a shop, so I have tons of space in the back where customer vehicles are, where cars that are being worked on are, things like that. But when I first started, I got a small warehouse. It held 12 cars, and it was about $2,500 a month. I know that people sometimes have this vision of just going big and you're gonna make a ton of money and you've got all this money for cars, and if that's you and you have deep pockets, great. If you're starting out on a shoestring budget, I recommend going small and then working your way up. There's no rush. The idea of limiting your loss while you're getting established and getting your advertising and getting a base of cars coming in, making payments to you, I think that's crucial. You know, there's no magic bullet. There's no swallow this pill and you're gonna make $100,000 a year. It is a process. And if somebody tells you that it's not a process and that you're gonna make $1 million overnight, one, they're probably selling you some system that you have to buy from them to learn how to make $1 million a night, a month, a year, whatever the hell it is. So I wouldn't go with that. So until the next video, go do those two things, come back and we'll follow up.